Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh, this is so nice.
Yeah, it is.
Hello there.
Hi.
Welcome to Real African Art Gallery.
Wake up, smell the coffee. Same skin color, killing dead in the coffin. Need to stop that or be about that. Homies getting out of the pen, then they right back. Why though? Why you got that brown nose? Brothers be going broke in the fresh clothes. I guess it's just society. Need to figure out what's your anomaly. It's the quality over the quantity. Wanna be rich properly with a monopoly. Honestly, I'm in the wrong time zone. Should've been born a long time ago. 88, baby, times were so crazy. Why you got delays on your dreams but don't amaze me? Mainly, it's my point of view, it won't change me. Sticking to my guns like I've been doing daily. This is to the power of the people. This is to the power of the people. Need to start fighting for your freedom. Need to start fighting for your freedom. This is to the power of the people. This is to the power of the people. Need to start fighting for your freedom. Everything will start to be peaceful.
So blind, why can't you see? So hard, you can't believe. Is this what we're all about? Can't be the only way out. So blind, why can't you see? So hard, you can't believe. Is this what we're all about? Can't be the only way.
I'm Ganda, and you?
I'm Trinity.
I'm Bakari.
Nice to meet you guys. What brings you guys here?
Well, my girl loves art, so I figured I'd make it a date.
Great idea. Well, you came to the right place. Well, guys, everything you see in the gallery is handmade, imported from Africa. The stone sculptures all come from Zimbabwe. Paintings come from Malawi, Tanzania, and Zimbabwe as well. Please take a look around at your leisure. Any questions, let me know.
Okay.
Hey, young lady.
Hi.
Something you like, you see?
Yeah, this one is amazing.
Let's see what we got here. This one is called The Thinker by Tarai Mutigwa, a fellow Zimbabwean.
Does it have any meaning behind it?
Absolutely. What you see here is a man deep in thought, and that actually symbolizes empowering the mind. And what better way to do so than to educate yourself? This is a very deep meaning sculpture, also a very beautiful stone. Good eye, by the way, great eye.
Naomi Winfrey, and I am the teacher and educator of Nubian Moon, LLC. Nubian Moon started back in 2017. Basically, it's an entity that educates about classical African history and African American history, and the focus is on the youth as well as the community, but particularly the youth. So 2017, I've worked with a couple of organizations in Charlotte with as far as African American heritage, but then I kind of want to do something to focus my young youth, and I also really want to focus on like our antiquity heritage, not just African American history. So I decided to do a little sample class in my home with my children and some few other homeschool children, and it was just so like abundantly fulfilling for me, and they were happy and they were excited about learning their history. So I took that and we ended up doing a program concurrently on the semesters, and now we're doing stuff in Swahili. We're partnering with people in Tanzania. So it's a beautiful thing that's kind of burgeoning out and everything. Now for me, I went to public school, and the only thing I really remember about my history was learning that we were slaves and that we were okay with it and that we had did it ourselves in Africa. That was the gist of it. And when we did have a 9th grade class that talked about world history, by the time we got to Africa, there was no time left in the semester. He said nothing really happened over there anyway. And I was like, oh, okay, 9th grade. I was like, that don't sound quite right, but I don't have any other information. And then so I ended up going to school for African Studies, and I got a lot of African American history, but not till I graduated did I really learn classical African history. Because I walked past a book that one time that said they came before Columbus. I was like, who came before Columbus? And then that was my journey onto like just classical African heritage. And then from then it's just, been explosive, just trying to figure out all the ins and outs. Because we've done everything when you think about as far as governance to math to sciences, all those things. And when the children know about that type of history, then there's no ceiling for them. If I know about science, that I created science from my antiquity, from my ancestors, then I have no shadow of a doubt that I can do this in school, that I can be an astronaut, that I can be anything I want to be. But a lot of times we check out, especially boys, 3rd or 4th grade, unfortunately. And a lot of times the girls sometimes have themselves closed off in the box. They can't think they can't go past a certain point. I want to be the first black this, when already you created. So we know that. Imagine how far we can go beyond that instead of finding out when we're like 25. I believe that we are very capable and definitely have a potential to do what we need to do, and there's a hunger and thirst inside of our children. We have to be aware of that and listen to them, not brush them off, listen to what they have to say, because they have those desires too, to want to achieve and want to go beyond what they have done before. But we have to be aware of that and also feed them the knowledge that we know so that we can all benefit from it. We need to get back to, having that time with our grandmothers and our elders, because I really feel like we sometimes are separate, like the youth are doing this, the other people are doing this, and people in between are just working to get to that point. But I feel like we have a more of a community way where, because the youth have wisdom that much too, especially when they're like 3 or 4 or 5, they have so much wisdom that they have to offer you because they don't have all those things that we have put on ourselves. So we have a combination with the youth, knowing that they'd have to listen to their elders, taking their stories, understand, calm down, quiet down a little bit, log off. I know that might be old school, but log off the social media thing and talk to somebody in real life and actually have that communication. And then also for the elders to be open to the youth so that we can all have a communication there. Because I really believe that it's not going to be just the youth or the elders or anybody. It has to be a whole community thing.
Mr. Ganda,
Hey, young man.
I'm really liking this one. Can you tell me what it means?
This one is a piece called Just Stretching Out. It's made by Addington Nyasoka, a fellow Zimbabwean artist. It depicts physical fitness. It's very important that we stay physically fit. You look fit yourself. Playing sports?
Yes, sir.
What do you play?
I play rugby and football.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Nice, nice. I used to play soccer way back in the days myself, but it's very important we stay physically fit, and Addington has a lot of pieces that depict fitness, so I'm glad you like that one. Good piece. Good piece.
My name is Aaron Douglas, and the company name is Transformation Fitness. Transformation Fitness is a lifestyle change. It's a movement. I encourage movement in everyday lifestyle. It is a workout program that I've created for different clients. It's custom made for clients based on what they need and what they desire, what they want to be later down the line. I do HIIT training, I do weight loss, I do bodybuilding, body sculpting. I am a certified nutritionist, so I do nutrition coaching. It's an overall lifestyle change. It's called Transformation Fitness for a reason, because the way you come in is different than the way you leave. I tell all my clients to come in and learn to compartmentalize your emotions and your feelings. So you come in, you may have had a upset with the wife or with the husband or with your children. You come in and you leave that stuff outside. The youth they're the next people up, the next generation up, so they're following behind you and myself. So if they can get the fitness and health and eating down packed, then they'll be great. You know, so I believe that eating out is not the best thing to do all the time. Eating like snack foods all the time, eating junk food, like a lot of sweet sodas and stuff like that, it kills them before they even know it's killing them. So it's very important. Nutrition is the most important aspect even over the working out part, the fitness part. If you don't eat right, then you can work as hard as you want and you will not change. Things will not change. Nowadays, most people are quote unquote obese. You know, they're overeating. You know, parents are at work, and there's nothing wrong. I'm not down on the parents who work all the time. They have to support their families, but their kids are subject to eating whatever's in the fridge. And if there's nothing in the fridge, then what your body does is it stores your next meal as fat. It's science to it. So if your parents are out all day and you eat when they get back, and it could be 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, you have to give your body 6 hours to digest food. So if you're eating when they get back, let's just say they do a quick meal or bring home McDonald's or pizza or whatever the case may be, that next meal will be stored as fat. So a lot of things are important when it comes to the parents and the children. It's a combination of both. They have to work together to, I guess, have the best fit lives. When I was in school, I went to Catawba College. The one thing that I took out of that college was English class. It was a word, wallow, to wallow in complexity. The teacher, I was like, what does that mean? What does that mean? You know how pigs lay in slop, roll around in it? That's wallowing. So you cannot wallow in the things of the past. You have to move forward. You have to transform your mind. That's what the basis of the business is transforming your mind.
Hey guys, I do believe you may like this sculpture. This piece right here is by Mr. Gift Pawandira, a fellow Zimbabwean. Title is The Village Princess. But what's so significant about the princess in this picture? What you see here is a good depiction of elders. In our culture, elders mean everything. They're the anchor of the community. Back in the day, before anything else was the court of arbitration, elders were the ones that would guide us. Local disputes, family disputes, you go to your elders. Elders is who we look up to. For you and for I to look into how we can grow, elders are an anchor of our community.
My name is Mark-Heru Bradley. I kept the traditional family name and got a name out of ancient Kemet. And I am one of the co-founders of African Liberation Media. Was founded August 21st, 2017. So this will be our 5th anniversary. And we do podcasts once a week and put out a lot of other information on social media and via other sources. I primarily assist the Mills Plays guided journey to manhood. I actually worked in the organization for about 7 years, but I continue to assist them on various projects. I wrote the mantra, for example, or I composed the mantra that they recite before every program. I help them with the planting of the garden and working in the garden periodically. So, that's my primary involvement. And we've been reaching out to some other individuals and administrators, for example, at schools and CMS to try to see what we can do to remediate some of these severe problems, this crisis that young people are faced with. The connection between youth and elders is a product of family, community, and culture. Okay, and our family has, the black family, we're just talking here about the United States, the black family has been under assault since Daniel Moynihan wrote his report on the Negro family for the Johnson administration in 1965. And I think what happened was this. There were a group of young people who were born in the 1940s who rose up in the 1960s and decided that they were going to confront American apartheid. They were going to confront these restrictions that were on our lives. And there were some more of these sophisticated politicians like the Kennedy brothers, for example, people like that. They recognized that, we should yield on some of these demands. When the activists in SNCC and then later in the Black Panther Party and other organizations, when they realized that reforms were never going to go far enough, they issued a call for Black Power. And then the Black Power movement became the Black Liberation Movement. At that point, the power structure of this country said, whoa, where did this come from? Because they had thought, as Carter G. Woodson wrote in The Miseducation of the Negro in 1933, if you control a person's thinking, you don't have to worry about their actions. They thought they had total control of our thinking. And so when Baba Mukasa, Willie Ricks, and Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture issued a call for Black Power in 1966, they said, wow, we cannot let this go on. Otherwise, we will actually lose control and lose our hegemony over the African American community and probably over the African world. So they said, they recognized that all of these activists were products of strong Black families. The entire civil rights movement is based on the unsung strong Black families of the Mississippi Delta, the Black Belt of Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, North Carolina, Louisiana, et cetera, et cetera. So it was strong Black families. So they say, how do we prevent this? First of all, we got to stop them. But how do we prevent this from happening again? And the way we prevent this from happening again is by attacking their families, okay? And so it started with a series of things, the expansion of the welfare state and the dislocation of Black males from particularly from the urban blue-collar labor force. Very good paying jobs in manufacturing industries like steel and appliance making, automobiles, those types of things. And so as our families began to disintegrate, the connection and the respect for not only just the elders, but even for the immediate adults that are in their lives, began to it came under attack. What has to happen is young Black males and young Black females who are producing children need to be building families. We can't just go around, continue just engaging in mindless sex, and children become collateral damage from mindless sex because you weren't anticipating having children or building a family. This is what I would advise young children of African descent to do every morning, to recite this. I watch my thoughts, they become my words. I watch my words, they become my actions. I watch my actions, they become my character. I watch my character, it determines my destiny. And then the second part of that is a quote I got from Maulana Karenga, which says, values are categories of commitment and priorities which enhance or diminish human possibilities. And so the way the society is designed, it's designed to diminish the possibilities of African children. And so we have to replace that with values which enhance our possibilities. But it all starts with thoughts, words, actions, character, and then we can have a positive destiny, and we can once again walk the earth as free, proud, productive, prosperous, and powerful people, as our ancestors did in the Nile Valley for over 3,000 years.
Hey, Bakari, come see this one.
Wow, I really like how it's constructed. Look at his head.
Hey guys, see this one, like it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very beautiful piece. Feeling the Breeze is titled, by Simon Chidarara. a fellow Zimbabwean as well. You know, when you look into this piece and listen to the title, Feeling the Breeze, this is getting the mind to breathe. Think about it for a second. Feeling the breeze, getting the mind to breathe. It's very important to allow your mind to breathe. It's very important to ensure that you have some of the best fitness of your mind. And this piece right here, to me, depicts one such situation. Like that?
Yeah.
My name is William Jasper. I've been working in mental health since 2003. I currently serve as the quality management director for an agency that I helped start with my family back in, well, we started planning in the end of 2008 and we started providing services to the community in August of 2009. I've lent my time to providing, you know, whatever I can to the youth in the Charlotte community. I worked with the Mail's Place and Baba Reggie. I worked with him for 2 or 3 years and, you know, working with the Masharis and the elders out there and, you know, just doing whatever I could, whether it's offer, you know, some kind of advice, some kind of wisdom, or whatever the child at the time needed. You know what I mean? Because our children, they're going through a lot, you know what I mean? And so whatever the child needed at the time, you know, you just impart whatever you can. What we do here is we actually provide day services for children. And so we get them from elementary school all the way up through high school. And I've gone into the middle school classes and into the high school classes that we provide and actually gave classes about African history, you know, and getting some, you know, just trying to give them some information, you know, because in the traditional school setting, you're not going to get the information that I was, you know, willing to provide. I think our Black youth are, the images being projected to them are counterproductive to what we actually need or what they actually need. We don't need the images of making money and investing ourselves into capitalism, which the goal is profit by any means necessary, right? So it doesn't matter if you kill your own brother, kill your own sister, as long as you make it out, right? And that's what's being promoted. And unfortunately, our children are heavily influenced by social media today. Some of it is because us as parents, we gotta grind. We gotta be able to provide some stable living. And a lot of us are not educated in the way that they would want us to as far as college education, to be able to achieve some greater position or whatever the case may be. A lot of us are entrepreneurs, fortunately, whether good or bad, right? But we still gotta grind in order to provide for ourselves and our families. I think our Black children need to see us together as families, as a community. Everything starts with the family. So not only do we have to be together as a family, but we have to educate ourselves as a family. And the education that we receive has to be outside of the traditional education, because the traditional education only reinforces who we are not and what we have not been. So if we're not reading the books from Professor John Henry Clark, the history books, if we're not reading, you know, the books by Sheikh Anta Diop, you know, to tell us who we were and what we could possibly be doing if we came together, you know, if we're not understanding that we have to take control, and even though I work in mental health, we have to take control of our own psychology in the way that we view psychology, in the way that we analyze ourselves, just like Amos Wilson or Nana Marimba Ani or Baba Baruti. You know, we have to analyze ourselves, see where we have gone wrong, but then see where we also can repair ourselves so that we can cause a different future. Baba Amos Wilson, he talks about looking at our community and educating our children to do the things that our community needs. Educate them in a way right? So if I know that we need dentists in our community, then I'm going to do my best to try to talk to all of my children. Look, we need a dentist, we need an orthodontist. You can do it together. You can be an entrepreneur. You can do it all. Yeah, it's going to take a lot of education, but you're providing a service, and you can also be able to live a life that you feel like you want to live. You know what I'm saying? And it's not in the capitalistic way where we're doing our people bad. We're just providing a service to them. But then because you should have some excess of money, now you can use that money. Now you can, fund your own kind of teams, or, build or help build an infrastructure in our own community with the excess money. Like there's things that we could be doing, but telling that to the kids when all they see is what's on social media every day, there's going to be a huge disconnect. So it's rough, the position that we're in, but we have to stay vigilant, and we have to encourage our children to stay vigilant as well, and not to get detoured.
So what do you see?
Looks like a village.
Yeah, it's nice.
Hey guys,
Hey, how's it going?
do you see something else you like?
Yeah, I really like the nature surrounding the village.
Nice, nice. This piece right here is by Steve Mateo. Steve Mateo is from Malawi, one of our core artists. This piece is called The Villagers. What you're seeing here is a depiction of a typical African community. If you look around, you see the children playing, the road splitting right through the houses, doors unlocked, women are working, grinding. This actually, when you look into it, is a typical way on how people in our culture get together. This is a very nice piece, guys.
Jamal Kennard, founder and principal consultant at Conscious Leadership. We are a racial equity consulting firm, but our main focus is culture development. And we believe that culture eats strategy for lunch. No matter how good your strategy plan is, you gotta have a good culture. Number two, as you see on my chest, founder of the Statements clothing brand. I spell statements with an infinity sign because I believe statements live forever. And the statements I live by: organize, 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 make America think so we can make history now together. Last but not least, what I do here in the community, Lakeview Neighborhood Alliance. We are a community impact organization. Community impact is an acronym that stands for individuals making progress and change together. And all of those individuals who have come to form LNA, or residents and stakeholders of this great community, we have organized ourselves around a 3E strategic plan: engage, educate, and empower. And we focus on 4 main components: child and family stability, prevention of displacement due to gentrification, economic mobility, and civic awareness.
So my name is Jania Massey, and the name of my organization is Stiletto Boss University. In short, we're a youth entrepreneurship program. But if I say long-term, what we are, where it came from, it really came from just my experience of leaving college, going into the corporate world, and like, okay, this cannot be it. Like, really, like, this is not it. How, if I would have known certain things earlier, how I would have probably changed my mind. Not necessarily about college, but in the direction or career or major that I wanted to go into. And then in 2016 here in Charlotte, we had like the Keith Lamont Scott situation happen with police brutality. And we came out with a report, which is about leading on opportunity, about Charlotte being 50 out of 50 in economic mobility. And in reading that report, I was like, I was that child. I was raised in a single parent home. We went from being middle class at one point to going to low income. And it was like, where is my social capital? Like, I realized the people that were around me were not people that were of influence, but not an influence of the way we think of it now in today's society. Of influence meaning like politics, or did I even know millionaires, or did I even know people in that realm? And I realized, well, I don't. And I probably don't, because I'm not going around asking you, are you a millionaire? But that was not my network. You know, I kind of just networked beside, and I still network beside, but also how do kids know how to be in these environments and learn how to engage and interact, regardless if it's outside of their comfortable setting. So I've always had a hustle entrepreneurship mindset. So entrepreneurship is what clicked for me and how the world works in regards to how to be financial literate, how to make sure your credit score, how to take care of yourself, how a business really run, HR. So I was like, how cool would it be if we teach this to young people so they can make better decisions about what they want in life? So that's the long version of what it is, but in short, we teach young girls entrepreneurship.
Cedric Dean, organization is Safeguard, Atone, Validate, Educate, SAVE. SAVE was founded in federal prison. You know, at the age of 22, I was sentenced to life plus 5 years. The judge told me if you die and you come back to life, you still got 5 years to do. So while I was in federal prison, the wardens, you know, they had all these kids coming from Chicago, New York, LA with the gangs, and they didn't know what to do. They had come to prison with all their killing and stuff, so they was trying to stop them in prison. So Warden came to me one day, and he was like, man, I don't know what to do. I said, man, it's character, man. You know, so many kids, they had a mother that was on drugs, a daddy that was in jail. They don't have the character, so, you know, you need to give them that character. So that's how SAVE was founded, man. It was, you know, the 4 acronyms, Safeguard, you know, showing how to safeguard ourselves from crime, drugs, gangs, guns, and violence. Then the Tone was making amends for our past sins. Validate was, you know, teaching them life skills, life plans, you know. And then Educate, just giving them the tools, you know, that they needed to be able to be successful.
My name is Dr. Norris Williams. I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, the Beta Nu Lambda chapter here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I serve as the Director of Educational Activities. With Alpha Academy, I serve as one of the co-sponsors. With Alpha Academy, we have a group of individuals who are brothers in the fraternity who work together to coordinate all the events for Alpha Academy over the year. As the Director of Education, I work with Alpha Academy and the Botillion, which is primarily just for seniors. Alpha Academy is for students in 6th through 11th grade, and it really works with cultivating young men in the Charlotte community and making sure that they have an opportunity to participate in cultural events, educational events, preparing them for academic rigor in high school, elementary school, middle school, and then moving on to college.
I think the kids are good as far as being innovative. I think they're good as far as expressing themselves, but I also think that they are going through a whole bunch of challenges because things are so widespread, like they get information so much faster now. So I do see kids that's dealing with anxiety. I do see kids dealing with just like anxiousness, like they're trying to figure themselves out, but the world is changing every day. So they're like, dang, I thought I had myself figured out one day, and now I don't even know who I am. You know, I'm feeling a whole different emotion. So I do think that the kids are becoming more aware about their mental health, more aware about their feelings, but also like, what do I do with that? And I think that's where programs and youth kind of come into play of like, take it day by day, step by step, hour by hour, and just kind of, you're always going to be growing up. We're never completely grown up, like ever.
When I was working in the school system, at the beginning of every school year, I saw kids coming into school fresh to death, a sparkle in the eye. Coach Kennard, we're gonna get it done this year. This year, I promise you, this is gonna be the year I'm gonna take off. It's gonna happen. So they were very optimistic about their future. But by the time that bell rang at 2:15 each and every day, as the school year went on, that light began to dim, that optimism turned to pessimism, and before you know it, they were making decisions contradictory to what they said they wanted to have in their life track. So now, I'm scratching my head because I'm like, man, they just told me that they want to accomplish this thing. But then when we started doing home visits, and I would go into these neighborhoods and you see concentrated poverty. I think about Maslow's hierarchy of human need, those bottom 2 levels of air, water, food, shelter, That second level of safety, security. People are stuck there systemically in this nation. And when you're stuck in survival mode, you reject community and you fend for self. How could I ever ask a youth, a young person, to make a decision, an educated decision about his or her future while they're in that condition?
You know, a lot of these kids out there today, you know, they emulate what they hear in rap music, and what they see in the videos and movies and stuff like that. I know firsthand because I did it when I was young. You know, we listened to Tupac and went out there and did our thing. But so it's important to give them alternatives and options.
To continue to push our youth in the right direction, I think that we must continually encourage them, making sure that they understand that their ideas, their concepts are, their imaginations are limitless, and just encourage them to do whatever positive thing it is that they want to do. Give them that encouragement. If they fail, encourage them to fail fast and get back up, dust themselves off, and try something different.
The best advice that I could give the young people is never give up on your dreams. Cause you can do anything, man. You know, he told me, yeah, you die, you come back to life, you still got 5 years to do. But I sat in there, and that same little black boy that they thought was gonna die in prison, ended up helping over 500 people get their GEDs, ended up publishing 20 books from federal prison.
I would tell them to focus on their happiness. I would tell them to focus on their happiness, and I would tell them to understand that their success is not what success looks like for everybody else.
Continue to persevere. Continue to believe in yourself. All those great things that they've been told since the day they've been born are true. That they are powerful, that they're wise, that the sky's the limit. Every one of those things is true. They just have to believe it within themselves and then put in the work to make sure that it's accomplished.
Above all you're getting, get knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. The acquisition of knowledge plus the application of knowledge equals transformation. So you have to get knowledge, you have to acquire it. The application of knowledge is wisdom. The transformation is that understanding.
You two young people remind me of a very famous African proverb. It says, children are the reward of life. You guys know what that means?
No.
Children are the reward of life.
I guess miracles. Children are the miracles of life. If you have a child, then it can be rewarding. Some people don't look at it like that, but I guess some people, for the people who cannot have children, that can be very rewarding because your child will grow up and take care of you. If you take care of them, if you love on them, then they'll grow up and they'll take care of everybody else around them. So that can be pretty fulfilling and pretty rewarding.
I mean, for me, like, we all were children and we're all rewards, you know, like even when you go back biblically and you think about how even Jesus came for those that are believers, like it came from God planting that seed. So for me, that proverb is really about the seeds that we plant as kids, but all of us were children at one point. All of us have been a reward to somebody. So we're a reward to our parents, or we might be a reward to somebody we've helped along the line. So it's just always remembering that we all are prizes.
When I go inside these schools, West Charlotte, I go inside Performance Learning Center, I teach these kids, man, whatever you get into it with, if you get into it with somebody over a little girl, right, and you lose your life over that, what was the value of that? Because to your mother, it's priceless because she can't replace you. No money in the world can buy another you. So always know your self-worth, that you priceless. And that's what that reward is. That reward is because without our children, there is no future. If we kill all our kids, how are we gonna reproduce? How the world gonna continue to move forward? So the reward is in them seeing their self-worth and their value.
When I look at myself as a parent and look at children, I oftentimes think that's a God-given responsibility to raise those individuals to be the very best of who they can.
Now the reward is going to be who they become. We've put in the work for however many years. I mean, my oldest daughter's going to be 20 in a few weeks, right? That doesn't mean at 18 we stop being parents, right? And now we just gonna sit back and watch what she becomes. No, like we're still having conversations, and we plan to have conversations, you know, and how they turn out in life and what they decide to do with their children. That will be the reward.
I never appreciated life the way I did again until I had children, because they can stop and look at a flower and be amazed, or look at a plane, or just anything. They have the small joys of life, and they can open your ears and eyes to more things that you sometimes forget about, and so they make you stop and pause and really appreciate life and just enjoy it really well. And then when they learn their knowledge, they become excited about it, and they are like, okay, let's go ahead and do so. Like my daughter is very ambitious, so when we let's go ahead and maybe we can start a business. Okay, let's go ahead and start it right now. Let's go ahead and get a website right now. So if you go ahead and start and train them that way, I feel like they will reward you just by how much they will give back to you and help you to understand. Because you think you're going to teach them, but in essence, they end up teaching you through their knowledge. So they're definitely a reward, absolutely.
All the things that so many other lineages of individuals have worked towards, have worked for, is manifested in the life of a child. Anytime there's a new birth, it's a rejuvenation. It's a time of celebration. And as long as we continue to have that positive concept, then I think that our children will continue to believe that they are those things, and then they will continue to do the wonderful and positive and unimaginable things that we know that they can.
Our traditional culture, as I said previously, was a child-centric culture. Everything was designed. Everything was designed, based on family and kinship relations, and the positive impact of our culture. Everything was designed to enhance the possibilities, to develop children, to inculcate them with positive, life-sustaining, life-enhancing values, because they, without children moving in the direction of, enhancing their possibilities, then our situation as a people on this planet is in serious trouble.
The quote from Dr. King came to my mind that I live by. He says, what affects one of us directly affects all of us indirectly. I cannot be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. You cannot be what you ought to be until I am what I ought to be. Good people, our youth will never be what they ought to be until we become what we ought to be. And what we ought to be is organized around truth, justice, and accountability.
Mr. Ganda, thank you for explaining this art to us today.
Yeah, I most definitely have to come back.
The pleasure is all mine. I enjoyed having you guys around. You guys must be hungry by now. I'll tell you what, there's a very nice restaurant right here, a Jamaican one. You guys may really like it. Want to try it out? Yeah. All right, I'll show you around. Follow me around. Come on with me.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, through sunshine and rain. Stressing over everything, losing your brain. Pick back up yourself before you go insane. Levitate on the times that you got the rain. Times are tough, I'm being honest. We can see the light, just remain modest. Can't forget, just a day reminder. Life's a little short and take off the blinds. Be a little wiser, build my own future, I'm the pathfinder. CMG is a team with a franchise. Impacted by the worst decisions. Breaking bad habits on the repetition. What you get into now? Gave too many chances from screwed now. In the back edition, but it's not the ending. Get yourself together, got no time for reminiscing. I just want us all to live life.
enough is a beautiful thing. I love it. See, I done been through a lot, but not enough to stop. Never spent a lot of hours on the clock. I'm trying to pop, locked in the stock room. It will remind me of my thoughts. I got a whole lot of product in the box. I'm trying to drop what you got. I got a whole lot of product you can cop. Yeah, pennies for my thoughts. A lot of commas, a lot of commas. It's hard staying conscious when the problem's making profit. Still fly, just flying in the opposite of what a flock is. The most high riding in the cockpit. He told me for the autopilot, hit the top switch. Kamikaze dropping knowledge, I'm just honest. No, I'm not a prophet, but I profit off a promise. God said stop knocking and unlock it. I'm what happens when a janitor meets the locksmith. You know that common sense ain't common, so don't pick cotton, pick college. And that's knowledge.
On the way, trying to stop us, but we gon' fight it. No, we won't give up. On the way, gonna be a little tough, but it's a beautiful thing, but take it from me, but it's a beautiful thing, but no, we won't give up.
No worries, we gon' win. Several failed attempts, right back up again to the end. Added to the wheels fall off. Ain't no time to be complacent, you will get knocked off. My pleasure, you gonna thank me later. Can't forget about the other side for them haters. Closer than you think, this is nothing that we make up. Let the dead wait, we'll open the floodgates. Wait, first things first, gotta learn to have patience. Doesn't mean sitting all your life, all the waiting. Minute that you quit, this is second that you're failing. Bounce back from a setback, then you sailing. We on our way to the yellow brick road. Gotta suffer consequences that we weep when we sow. Let nothing get in the way when we get in the zone. Can be afraid to admit we're not right and we're wrong. Yeah.